Some would say you cut people off to grow, and some would say you've just adjusted your access based on alignment and standards. Calibration, not elimination. Standards, not emotion. And responsibility, not blame. Hi there, and welcome. My name is Kanchefu, and here we discuss personal development. In particular, we talk about life after therapy. If you're new here, make sure you press subscribe, and if not, welcome back. So, let us begin. Outgrowing people, places, and things is a natural progression and consequence of growth. It doesn't mean that you no longer love, care for, or associate with said noun, but much rather highlights the part of your journey that you're currently taking in life. Outgrowing people is usually seen as ignorance, is usually seen as hatred, but let's challenge that and question feeling wrong for changing. Because as your standards shift, it's not a personality flaw. So let's discuss that further. The guilt of growth. The guilt of you moving forward, no longer thinking the same, feeling the same as you once were. That combination of maturity, that combination of increasing your awareness and your exposure to not only your life, but also the implications of the experiences. The implications of events, trauma, news from the external world. As I mentioned, growth highlights where you are in life right now. That you're no longer where you once were and you are moving forward. You are seeing things differently, so you behave a different way. You want to now support yourself as much as be able to support as others. Whether that requires that same proximity, virtually, in person, I wonder. Were your old relationships built on your old identity? The way you used to value life, see life, think of life. That could be how you viewed yourself, of what you even think you were able to achieve as well. That old identity is attached to what once was, but is that the same person you are now? I ask that because changes can create tension and discomfort. Because an environment and people that have seen you grow up or have been involved in your life for an extended period of time understand you in a certain way, manner, behavior. Now, as you go through life with your own thoughts, feelings, emotions, desires, experiences, you garner the awareness that you're able to make your own decisions, choices, and have your own feelings and thoughts of who you are, what you want to see, achieve, or not, and be involved with or not be involved with. And that's when guilt can appear as your standards have increased, which can result in tolerating misalignment just to keep the familiarity, which really can result in that drained energy and slow progress, living for others, doing things for others, much rather than for you, the one who has to go back home and sit with yourself, the one who has to go through life by himself. Yes, there may be friends and family involved, but your decisions affect you when the day concludes. So maybe the issue isn't growth. Maybe it's misaligned relationships. So as you move forward and take steps to support yourself, your relationships must match that current identity. Where you are, what you're looking for, of who you're trying to become. So let's discuss an audit, a way to analyze the relationships that are currently in your life against your standards to determine that access. The first question I have for you is the energy impact. When you think about the closest people in your life, friends, family, therapist, coach, whatever it may be, does this person drain you or strengthen you? And really try to measure the emotional and mental impact. Not just currently what's happening in the last few months, but over a span of the last couple years. To really give you a good analyzation of things that are prominent to your mind right now that, oh, this happened, whether that drained you and gave you strength and encouragement moving forward. Another question to look at is around alignment. Do the people in your life support or conflict with your direction? Now that question is either going to point out a few names or faces that do one or the other, or maybe even both. And alongside that, it's going to help you assess whether there's shared values, things you uphold to being worthy of in your life as well as theirs, and also shared behaviors. Do they act as they say? Do they say one thing and do another? And is that in accordance with what you want from your life? And the third question I have is around behavior patterns. What consistently happens after interactions? In other words, what is the thing said, sent, text, done when the interactions are done? What I'm looking to help you understand is identifying repeated negative cycles that have not only affected them, but also yourself. And my last question is around the growth compatibility. Can this relationship exist at your next level? That's evaluating a long-term fit. Discussing things about your goals, your vision, and it being supported or neglected. Seeing your everyday life in a way that supports you and moves you forward, but it being pulled down and disregarded by a few comments. These questions are to really unpack the truth behind your relationships, the truth behind your growth, and moreover, evaluate that next direction for yourself. Simply, keep, reduce, or remove the access. It's a decision system, not a feeling, which isn't always easy to comprehend, especially when there's attachments and experiences. And now that's a deeper discussion. I'm curious to know, what are you tolerating? Because negative tolerance delays growth. It means you are allowing things, and allowing things must mean they're not in accordance with what you actually want, but much rather a justification you've convinced yourself is appropriate, instead of aligning with your standards to accelerate your growth, to help you develop further. So I've got a task for you. Define one misaligned relationship you have and decide the level of access, whether that's reduced or removed, and communicate that clearly and directly to them, whilst avoiding over-explanation or justification for your actions. And even so, consistency after that boundary is set. I ask, could you? Because for some of you watching this, maybe unfamiliar territory, putting your standards in action and not having an emotional reaction. And that's what I'm going to leave it. If you'd like one-to-one support in identifying these misaligned relationships and understanding or knowing what steps to take next, fill out the form in the description below or comment the word reset and I'll send it to you. My name is Kanchefu. I hope you have a good day, morning, night or evening, for wherever you're in the world watching this.